Hello and welcome everybody. I'm Rose Smith from AbsoluteSoulSecrets.com. Thanks for joining me today. I thought I'd make this little video about magical manifestation because I've had a few people ask me over the years. It's sort of been playing on my mind actually. And somebody asked me last week about something and I had this flash of a Frankenstein while she was talking to me. And I realised that she was creating her own FrankenMonster. And I've had experiences myself where I've done that when I was younger, not realising what I was doing. So I thought it was probably timely to do this. People ask me how come the law of attraction doesn't work. So I've got a few tips. So let's put on some video so you can see something else besides me. That might always be good. What we're trying to avoid is manifestation gone wrong, basically. So I was thinking about the spiritual parallels between Mary Shelley's great story Frankenstein and magical manifestation, because there are spiritual parallels. Most of us can relate to the idea of constructing our own mental, emotional and spiritual reality, and I think that's a really good thing, to really bring your heart's desires down to earth. Just like Victor though, we can invent or construct our own FrankenMonsters in life through our habits, our actions, our thoughts. So it's really important to be careful of what goes on in your head and to take control and do a little bit of a cleanup every now and again in your thinking. To give you some examples, if we constantly focus on negative thoughts and feelings, we could be constructing a monster of anger, fear or resentment. At the very least, it's going to be pretty negative because you get more of what you focus upon. If you're always looking for external validation, then money and possessions might become a god to you, and that's a monster of greed and materialism right there. Manifestation is simply the act of bringing your thoughts and desires to physical reality. It's not magic really, but when it happens, you might think it's magic because it feels great. You think, wow, I accomplished this, I manifested this. And there can be any amount of time. I've had situations where I've thought something, it's happened within seconds. And I've had other situations where it's taken 20 years to manifest. And those thoughts or those dreams that I had were so over the top, like they just were impossibilities at the time I thought them, but yet they did happen. So not only do we need to focus on it consistently, we need to keep our feet on the ground and be practical. You have to also feel the new reality. It's just every bit as much about your feelings as your thoughts, and taking appropriate action steps, okay, working towards it. You might remember Rhonda Byrne's book, The Secret. It came out in 2006, just a little while ago. It was quite a really big deal at the time. And it was all about law of attraction being used to bring positive experiences and things into your life by focusing on your thoughts and emotions of what you want. Sounds quite simple, doesn't it? However, in the real world, many people found it didn't work for them. It was oversimplifying the complexity of manifestation. And one of the big problems I find in Rhonda Byrne's book, The Secret, is that people sometimes have unrealistic expectations. And I've seen this many times when reading people. They've felt frustrated and disappointed that it wasn't working, even after spending long periods of time, like years, working on it. So it's really important to take concrete steps, because these things are real, but they're in another dimension. So you want to bring them here down to earth. But let's look at Frankenstein, because this is quite a good analogy, because Dr. Victor Frankenstein creates a monster out of various body parts and he gives it life. And once this monster is brought to life, it becomes a source of terror and destruction, not only for the community, but for Victor Frankenstein as well. and the creature was mistreated and rejected by society. It goes on a rampage and it seeks revenge on its creator and anybody else that gets in the way. The monster's like a symbol of the dangers of playing God, and there's a deeper message in the story that really speaks to creating your own reality and how it's shaped by your thoughts and desires. So you really have to be careful of what you think. Yes. So let's apply Frankenstein, the idea of it, the concept, to the idea of manifestation. So we can create our own FrankenMonsters if we're not really careful. If we don't really think about the long-term consequences, it could really sort of muck us up down the track. The other thing to consider is that the negative consequences can relate to this sort of energetic complex that we have cobbled together ourselves from our own energy. If we've involved other people and they haven't contributed to this energetic complex that we've created in this other universe, there's going to be an imbalance, isn't there? What we've put in is different to what they're putting in. If they're putting in anything at all, they may not be. And I'll give you some examples I've dealt with over the decades. The idea of a relationship. A woman wants a relationship with a specific person, and she's invested her whole life into the dream of what a relationship with this person could be. Maybe he is a partner, maybe she wants to get married and have 3 kids and he doesn't want to. Or maybe it's just somebody she's seen in the street and there is no relationship. But whichever way, he is not investing the same amount of energy that she is. And so she's sort of patchworked this all of these energies together and sort of build up an idea in her mind, but it's not happening in the physical realm. Okay, so you have to be cautious where if you have an idea, something you want to focus on involving other people that are not contributing to the same amount of energy to this situation, this idea that you have, this goal that you want to create in your life, then it's a real red flag, because it could become a FrankenMonster, which actually could end up controlling our lives if we keep on that path. And I have seen it. I've seen women invest 10 or 20 or 30 years waiting for somebody who's married because he says he's going to leave his wife and he never does. So it can be a real problem. So how to avoid the FrankenMonster? How do we avoid this manifestation gone wrong? The first thing is you have to be clear about what you want. I always think putting a time limit on something is a good idea, especially if you're waiting for someone to make a move. Don't wait forever. Be specific about what you want to manifest and make sure it aligns with your true values and goals. If you involve other people, then you have to be extremely cautious, especially if they're not giving their consent or they're not into the same thing that you are about the creation that you're making. It's fine to pray or wish people well, especially for your family or your loved ones. However, you can cross the line where manipulation is involved, and that's what you have to be cautious about. Focus on the journey, not just the destination, and consider the physical consequences of how your manifestation may affect you and the other person involved. Stay grounded in practical reality and make sure that what you want is actually achievable. It's fun to daydream, and daydreams are in another realm. They're not physical reality. The golden rule, if you want to manifest something physical, is you have to bring that energy down to earth. So, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is quite a cautionary tale, but it does have parallels in, how we run our lives, and it's a reminder that we have to be careful with our creations and what we create. So, keep that in mind. Go ahead, manifest your heart's desires, and be mindful of the potential pitfalls. Ensure you don't accidentally create a FrankenMonster who ends up controlling your life. Make sure what you're manifesting is aligned with your heart's true desires. And the power of manifestation is in your hands, so use it wisely. I hope you found this a bit interesting. That would be fabulous if you did. Leave a like or a comment, and if you're new, subscribe and be alive and hit that notification bell right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual. Have a lovely day.